Since the conference started, we've been getting a ton of questions. Thank you guys for sending it in. But one of the questions that we have received here so far says, how can you bring up difficult conversations and find solutions without it getting into being taken into an argument, or essentially, becoming an argument?
Okay, I'll start. When things like this happen, what I say is that, do you have friendship in your marriage? People that have not built a relationship, a closeness, a fondness, a friendship, then it becomes difficult to have hard conversations. It's like having a hard conversation with a stranger. It's going to be difficult. But if you already have a rapport, have a friendship, you'll find out it's not going to be something you are working on, eggshells or whatever to do. You have that rapport, you have that closeness, you have the fondness. So the first thing to build is that closeness and friendship. Don't wait for difficult conversations to talk. Create a system where you guys are open, you guys talk, you guys are close. Friendship is so underrated when it comes to family life. In fact, when it comes to relationship, we use friend zone, negatively. We say, I don't want to marry my friend, he's my friend. Why I don't marry this guy, is my friend. That's exactly who you need to be marrying, your friend. Because friendship will outlast any other thing. Will outlast romance, will outlast sex, will outlast every other thing in that marriage. Is friendship. Marriage is two friends living together. That's what it is. So build that friendship. Then secondly, when you are going to bring up conversations like that, try not to attack the person, just address the issue. So don't say you always, you never. Just deal with this particular issue, and it's better to always ask it in a form of a question. That way the person has something to read. But if you just say, you always, I have no answer, than to defend. You see. Because what I got was an accusation. So what you could do is manage how you address or bring up the topic. You can be like, do you think, or what do you think, or how can we, you see. You've made it easy, it's a conversation style, but not an accusation. Because once it's an accusation, the only response is a defense. You are in court. The person has to now defend themselves. So that's what I have to throw in.
Okay, I agree with the most important thing being communication in a marriage, being able to talk to each other. And if you're friends, it really makes it easy. So no matter what the conversation is, whether it's a hard conversation or not, if you're friends, then you'll be able to talk. But I also think that when it comes to hard conversations, you must also know the person you're dealing with. So if you understand your partner, you understand how to broach things with them. So I'll give you an example. Pastor K is, because of his personality, he doesn't handle negative energy well. So no matter how bad the situation is, if you're coming to him, it must be in a positive light, not accusatory, not in a way to insult him or bring him down. It must always bring some sort of positivity. So the house is falling, don't come there and say, you see, I said it, I've told you many times, the house is falling, you never do anything, I'm going to come in and say, oh, honey, I just noticed that the house looks like it's about to fall, but I found out that there's somewhere down the road that they're selling houses. Maybe we should go and look at it before this one falls. He's more open to the fact that you are not attacking me, you're not making most times people defend because they feel attacked. So if you understand the person that you're dealing with, you understand timing. Timing is crucial in having hard conversations. You must know when is the best time to broach a topic. Whatever it is, you must understand your partner. That's why he said friendship is the foundation. Because if someone is your friend, then you know them. I think people need to learn to be more curious about their partners. You need to learn to find out what makes them tick, what makes them happy, what are their trigger points, what upsets them. When you know these things, having conversations will become easier.
Now that's good. That's really good. Yes, please. Absolutely. You want to take the next question?
Yeah, I'll take the next one. The next question came as, how do you define the difference between being ready for a marriage or simply desiring companionship?
Okay, so interestingly, Pastor K has a whole book out there called When Am I Ready? Just being lonely is not enough reason to be married. And what that now results in is people who want, so for instance, a guy wants to get married because he's lonely, so he wants a wife, but he's not ready to be a husband. And that's where we now have problems in marriage, because you're thinking of what you can get, not what you intend to give in that marriage. And we all know if you're a married person, you know marriage is more about giving than getting. So you need to first of all find out what your motives are, what your perspective is, and if you are mature. The Bible says that marriage requires a certain grace and aptitude. There must be a certain level of maturity to be able to handle marriage. You must be emotionally mature. You must be physically mature. You must be financially mature. You must be mentally mature. I mean, it's on different levels, and the book really covers it. So, just feeling lonely. If you feel lonely, you can talk to a friend, but that's not enough to make a lifetime decision on. I think that's too dangerous. But like I said, the book is out there, and it has all the answers really broken down. It just would help you better than these 2 seconds I'm using to answer the question.
PT, I feel like you're... Yes. Did you want to add to that?
These guys, I called them the OGs yesterday, so they got it. But honestly, I think sometimes people focus too much on finding the right person than being the right person. So I think that's, what I'll say is that time whilst you're waiting, whilst you're looking for that person. PK was preaching earlier, and in Proverbs 31, it said how, the woman seeks to do him good and vice versa. So I think just use that time as productively as possible, right? So when that person does come, you're, in a sense, better for it, okay? So that's all I'll add to it. And definitely buy the book.
All right. Thank you. That was great. Okay, so another question came in. It says here, have there been moments when your loyalty to your spouse was tested by family? So I think this one is directed to you guys. And how did you navigate those situations prayerfully without damaging your marriage and your relationship with your family? That's a good question. Mm-hmm.
Pastor Kingsley, we're here to assist. We came up here reluctantly.
Is this one not covered in the book?
Loyalty has been tested by family. For us, it wasn't so much a thing, right? I don't know if you have any... but for me, I've always understood that the two shall become one. You will leave father and mother. So, I think people sometimes don't understand what marriage is and how it works. And this is blueprint. The blueprint is there. And interestingly, when that scripture was written, the first man and woman did not have father-in-law, mother-in-law, or family. But when they were describing what marriage was, they specifically made it clear that you will leave father and mother. And father and mother is not the only relationship that becomes secondary. They just use that because that's like your primary relationship. They said every other relationship in your life becomes secondary. Your spouse becomes the priority. All right? So when your loyalty is tested, first thing is perspective. Do you understand that your partner is number one? You need to understand that your spouse is number one. They come before your parents, come before your siblings, come before your friends, even come before work. They are number one. They must be given that priority. Once you understand that, then the second thing is now dealing with in-laws. It's how you guys deal with in-laws. So whenever there's an in-law issue, first thing is the intimacy between the couple must be solid, because it's not one person against the other, it's both of us against the world. So if both of us are solid, there's nothing coming against us that would overcome us. But whenever you see interference causing big issues, the bond or the unity between the couple is not strong. That's what that just connotes. Because life will happen. People want to interfere. People want to get undue influence, undue advantage. It is the unity and the strength of your union that determines if you guys can overcome. So put the priorities right. Set the boundaries right. We normally tell couples that if there are issues with her family, she addresses it. If there are issues with my family, I address it. Because it's easier for my folks to take my correction or my objection better than when she's the one giving it. Because they don't have that emotional investment yet with her. So don't push your spouse to go and confront your family. You confront your family. So there have been cases like that. Thank you. Thank you for that support. So there have been cases like that where things like that have happened. I have to address my family. In that case, she also has to address her family. So I look good to her family. She looks good to my family. I remember when we were in a relationship, the very first time she ever met my mom, you know. Very good, you can share it if you want to. So I was watching a movie. Those days, you couldn't rewind or pause movies, or whatever. If you're watching something on TV, you have to either finish watching it or you lose it. So my wife came to visit me. Then we're just dating in a courtship relationship. Then it was getting late. She had been saying, by late it's 7 p.m. ish. So she was saying, she has to go. I was like, let me finish this thing I'm watching. Because if I leave this thing, I'm not going to be able to catch it. So let's just finish this thing we're watching. And while that was going on, my mom came back. She was upstairs. Okay, so she came down and she asked a question.
And that was the first day I was meeting her.
That's the first day they were meeting. And she asked a question that, is your mother not at home? She asked her. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're not African,
you don't know what that means.
That's a rhetorical question. It simply means, don't you have home training? Shouldn't you be in your house by now? Helping your mom with something, why are you here? It's an aggressive question. So she asked that question, and I told her, hey, just let me. I told my wife was now up. I said, let me finish what I'm watching. I'm like that, I have to finish. So when we finished, I went to drop her, or I think I went to drop her. So I went to drop her home.
You were fuming.
I was fuming
all the way in the car.
Yeah.
He was just going on. His face was red. When I get home, let me just get home. And I was like, we're not even married, And honestly, I will let you finish the story. But when I saw this question, what I thought was, I don't think we've ever really allowed to get to the point where our loyalties could be tested, because from the very beginning, you make your stand very clear.
Yes.
From when we were dating, this happened. I said I was going to share. This happened, and it was clear what his stand was. Yes. I will not allow anybody touch you. So I don't even want you to question where my loyalties will lie. Yes. And that was so important because remember, doctors had told me I wouldn't have children. So entering a family and knowing that you are coming with a disadvantage, in quotes. In Africa, we don't do all those, we love each other. You are marrying to have children. Do you understand? So I knew that he would be able to protect me, because something as simple as this, when his mom just threw a little bit of aggression, he made it clear that don't ever try that again. So continue your story. So you can finish your story.
So I had to get home and I had to call my mom, and I was like, if you ever have any issue with my wife, this time she wasn't even my wife, but you see, it's from this period you lay the foundation of what will happen. So I said, if you have any issue with her anytime, you talk to me, you do not talk to her, especially not in that fashion. And I made it clear that if she doesn't get it, then I will have to cut off my relationship with her. I had to make it clear that this is primary now. It was firm, it was hard, and I love my mom. I'm the last born, if you know what that means. So I'm my mom's baby, but I had to lay that foundation. And over time, there have been little things like that, even from other family members or whatever, but I put my stand down that I will cut off from you. You will not have that kind of access. So if you have any issues, you talk to me. And along the lines, there were times when, because like I said, it took us about 8 years to have kids, So there are times we'll travel around the world like this, and my mom will be like, no. There was time my mom was asking if you were pregnant.
She has asked me only once in this
Yes, she asked her only once. She usually asked me.
And she was
like
talking
I laid.
to me, Pastor K. Pastor K was not even there. He was upstairs, and I was just by the dining. She came to visit. So she said, I don't understand. I thought you were pregnant. And Pastor K just from upstairs. What? I don't know. What's that? What's that? Bella no they hide. Bella no they hide. If she's pregnant, you see it. Don't ask her anything. I was not trying to calm him down. Say, I'm helping you. Don't touch me. I'm doing it for your own good. I was like, okay. Yeah. So I really moved back and allowed him to do it for my good, because
so you must put your foot down and your family. And there are times she has also had to stand and defend, because it's not only the male. There are times where the woman also have to defend with your own family. Like I said, there are things they will accept from you. Yeah. If she spoke to my mom the way I did, you see, that would be a big problem. But my mom can take it from me. Do you get? So you must know how those things. But the baseline of all we are saying is that between us, there is no confusion as to what is priority. It's not an issue. It's not an issue. Yeah. Thank you.